This is Germany, the fourth largest economy in the world and the largest economy in Europe, with a GDP of $4.5 trillion in 2023. Germany's economy used to be the machine of Europe, with stable growth and predictable and conservative economic policies implemented by ex-Chancellor Angela Merkel. However, in recent years, things have changed for the worse in Germany, which strangely enough does somewhat coincide with the departure of ex-Chancellor Merkel. With the current economic forecast for Germany, as well as the rise of far-right movements and a rather weak diplomatic presence, things are not looking great for the once economic wonder of Europe. First, we need to talk about the state of the German economy. The German economy shrank marginally in 2023 and contracted by 0.3% in the fourth quarter of that year. Sentiment indicators continue to be weak, with some indicators in January having reached their lowest levels since the COVID-19 crisis, pointing to subdued economic growth in the first half of 2024. Investment growth is projected to remain low relative to pre-pandemic values, weighed down by downbeat investor sentiment entering the year, and labor shortages continue to be a bottleneck for the German economy. Germany's Minister for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Robert Habeck, has said the country has been hit by a very specific situation after Putin's full invasion of Ukraine, because its energy-intensive industries were dependent on Russian gas. Energy costs soared after Russia's full invasion of Ukraine 2 years ago. This sparked strong inflation and resulted in financial pressure on German households. And Germany's reliance on exports made it particularly vulnerable to changes in global trade patterns that resulted from the conflict in Ukraine, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. Next to troubling economic forecasts, Germany has also arguably lost much of its diplomatic power and leadership role on the world stage. After the departure of Chancellor Angela Merkel, Germany has had difficulties to find and communicate a comprehensive view and strategy. Angela Merkel, as Germany's Chancellor from 2005 to 2021, earned widespread respect for her pragmatic leadership, steady demeanor, and commitment to European unity. Dubbed the Iron Chancellor, Merkel navigated complex domestic and international challenges with a deft hand, notably during the Eurozone crisis in 2009 and 2010. Merkel's dedication to compromise and stability bolstered Germany's economic strength and solidified her reputation as a global stateswoman. Critics argue that Germany's new Chancellor Olaf Scholz has not effectively addressed key issues like climate change, social inequality, or economic growth. His leadership style is faulted for lacking vision, charisma, or the ability to inspire public confidence. Scholz's perceived shortcomings in policy formulation and execution, along with an uninspiring leadership approach, have raised concerns about his effectiveness in tackling Germany's pressing challenges. In recent months, Scholz has left many scratching their heads with various policy pronouncements, justifications, and defenses. Sometimes the issue is simply Scholz's enigmatic sentences. The Chancellor has even earned the nickname Scholzomat for his mechanic and frankly boring style of communicating. Other times he has been caught over-promising or changing his story. At various points, the Chancellor has offered misleading claims about Germany's aid to Ukraine, given multiple accounts of why he hasn't visited Kyiv yet, and shifted the timelines for important weapons deliveries. Most recently, Scholz raised eyebrows with the bold and untrue claim that no one had supplied Ukraine on a similar scale as Germany does. Germany has been extremely careful in providing heavy weaponry to the Ukrainians and seemed to wait for others to move first. This is especially visible with regards to Germany's Taurus systems, a high-tech air-launched cruise missile that could have a big impact on the battlefield in Ukraine. And to make matters worse, Russian media published a 38-minute audio recording of an intercepted online call between senior German military officials about how to support Ukraine in its fight against the Kremlin's invasion. In the call, German Air Force Chief Ingo Gerhardt discusses with 3 high-ranking Luftwaffe officials the possible delivery of Taurus cruise missiles to Kyiv, which Chancellor Olaf Scholz has publicly so far firmly rejected. They also talk about the training of Ukrainian soldiers and possible military targets for the Taurus missiles, including the Crimean Bridge, as well as Russian ammunition storages. The discussions included details of Allies' operations, such as the fact that British personnel are deployed in Ukraine and how Britain's Storm Shadow missiles and France's Scout missiles were deployed in the country. Germany's allies have not publicly criticized the leak. A spokesman for British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak told reporters it was a matter for Germany to investigate, and Britain would continue to work together with Germany to support Ukraine. But former British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace was quoted as saying by The Times that the incident demonstrated Germany was neither secure nor reliable. Next to Germany's economic troubles and difficulties in maintaining a leadership role on the world stage, we must also talk about Germany's internal political developments. In the last couple of years, a significant part of the German population has made a shift to the far right, and more specifically to the far-right party AfD. The FFD stands for Alternative for Germany. While the AfD did not win any parliament seats in its first federal election in 2013, the group's popularity has been rising. The AfD held about 13% of the seats in parliament from 2017 through 2021 and was the third largest party in the German parliament. Since 2021, it has held about 11% of the seats. After the next federal election, the AfD could become the second largest party. While this limited power would not let it enact any extreme policies that could potentially reduce freedom and respect for civil liberties in Germany, the AfD could use its position in parliament to disrupt the policymaking process, criticize establishment parties, and attract new voters for future elections. The AfD has not only become increasingly skeptical of the European Union, but it has also become a very clearly anti-immigration party. The true extent of AfD's anti-immigration policies came to light in January 2024, when a German investigative news report revealed that high-ranking AfD members attended a secret meeting with neo-Nazi activists to discuss a master plan. According to this plan, the German government would deport immigrants en masse to their countries of origin. This plan also included deporting non-German-born citizens of Germany. The meeting was especially controversial because a few members of the Christian Democratic Union, one of Germany's long-standing conservative parties, were also in attendance. Once the investigative report became public, the AfD publicly distanced itself from the meeting and the plan. Yet, it has been hard for the party leaders to convince the public that they do not support the supposed mass deportation policy, in part because high-ranking AfD members have suggested such policies in the past. The rise of Germany's AfD party alarms many due to the country's history of Nazism. AfD's nationalist, anti-immigrant stance raises concerns about fostering xenophobia and racism. Some party members' rhetoric echoes Nazi ideology, threatening democratic principles and social cohesion. Given Germany's history and its position as a leading European power, the rise of a far-right party like the AfD has broader implications for Europe and the world. It raises concerns about the resurgence of far-right movements across the globe and their potential to destabilize international relations and cooperation. In conclusion, the rise of far-right support, alongside economic concerns and an unpopular chancellor, worries many political analysts, especially considering Germany's global role. As a major player in the EU, Germany's internal politics can influence international policies and relations. The surge in far-right sentiment challenges Germany's democratic values and may alter its stance on key issues like immigration and trade, affecting not only Europe but also global affairs. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure to like and subscribe for more interesting videos and updates.